order. Congratulations, you guys are now the Student Government Association. Speaker Fernandez, will you give a brief announcement about the survey and then do opening roll?
Yes, guys, I sent out the form a few weeks ago where you guys are supposed to name, email, phone number, and UIN. It's very important that you send this form tonight. I have about 40 people fill it out, but there's still about 30 who haven't. I really need those UINs, so thank you. And now opening roll call. Speaker Bowen.
Howdy.
So, Chair Harris.
Howdy.
Ganoom.
Howdy.
Luz.
Howdy.
Landry.
Howdy.
Sosa. Price.
Howdy.
Miller. Miller.
Howdy.
Senator Garr. Brody. Slussers. Howdy. Tash.
Howdy.
Senator Smith. Rachel Smith. Counselor. Golden. Davenport. Senator Davenport. Senator Boisard. Senator McCreary. Corney.
Howdy.
Woolridge.
Howdy.
Owens. Senator Owens.
Howdy.
Senator Kingsbury.
Howdy.
Goff. Senator Goff. Senator Cheshire.
Howdy.
Senator Carpenter.
Howdy.
Senator Hernandez. Senator Bryson.
Howdy.
Senator Pollock. Senator Penniman.
Howdy.
Senator Nydagger. Howdy. Senator Howard.
Howdy.
Senator Alders.
Howdy.
Senator Woolsey.
Howdy.
Senator Hurley. Howdy. Senator Kale. Senator Edmund. Senator Rios.
Howdy.
Senator Nate.
Howdy.
Senator Kim. Senator Castelleca. Howdy. Senator Young. Senator Puffer.
Howdy.
Senator Harris.
Howdy.
Senator Click.
Howdy.
Senator Russo.
Howdy.
Senator Boyd. Senator Davis.
Howdy.
Senator Allen.
Howdy.
Senator Kelly.
Howdy.
Senator Mully. Senator Joyce.
Howdy.
Senator Paul Cutter.
Howdy.
Senator Esparza.
Howdy.
Senator Brown.
Howdy.
Senator Fuquay.
Howdy.
Senator Hawks. Howdy. Senator G.
Howdy.
Senator Williamson.
Howdy.
Senator Bateman.
Howdy.
Senator Melendez.
Howdy.
Senator Bruchmiller.
Howdy.
Senator Phelps. Senator Heisel.
Howdy.
Senator Colwell.
Howdy.
Senator Haman.
Howdy.
Senator Carey. Senator Carey.
Okay, we will now move into the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
And the invocation is going to be done by Macy.
Executive Director.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we thank you for bringing us all together here in your presence tonight. We ask for both your grace and your presence to help us make decisions with an open mind and an open heart, based on the knowledge and wisdom you have instilled in each and every one of us. Help cast away all thoughts that may interfere with the job that we have been called to do on the behalf of our constituents. Please give us the strength to represent students to the best of our ability and work through it so we can work to selflessly serve others in everything we do. Bless everyone in this room, as well as our family, our friends, and all those associated with the university. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible,
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institutions. The core values are excellence, integrity, respect, loyalty, leadership, and selfless service.
Thank you, Executive Director Fernandez. We have several items for open forum. The chair will make the body aware that it is currently 9 o'clock.
Point of information, do we have a microphone? Does that microphone operate tonight?
These microphones haven't been working, so I'm trying to talk loud. If there's anyone who can't hear me or anyone who can't hear one of the speakers at the podium, please raise a point of personal preference or something. I don't want anyone to miss anything. There are several items for open forum. We have an hour and 15 minutes left in this meeting, so before we go through silver taps. So first up for open forum, student regent Fernando Trevino, an off-campus resident from the class of 2013.
Hey. Howdy.
Woo! Howdy.
Sorry, I know y'all have a bunch of busy things going on right now, and I just wanted to, with my term ending at the end of the year now in a few weeks, which is pretty exciting for me, I wanted to leave y'all with some words of wisdom, if you would. Over this year, I've had the opportunity to travel to all of our 11 institutions. Half of them I've actually gone to twice or more, so I've really gotten to see really how different our system is and how unique we all are, but also some problems that we all share as students. And one of those is coming up in our next meeting this week, which of course is tuition, which is something that affects all of us in our daily lives. And I would encourage all of you to get informed about that and to come to our meeting, to have your voices heard. I myself will let you know that I am firmly committed to keeping our cost of tuition as low as possible, but also being responsible with that money. So we need to continually improve our education here, but we also don't need to put all of that burden on the backs of students. So I would encourage all of you to thank you first of all for being involved and getting involved at the student government here, but also to continue on next year and fight for those kind of values that we have fought so hard for all year, and to continue making Texas A&M a better place. Thank you.
And without objection, the chair will accept a motion to limit the time for each individual question and answer to 30 minutes apiece during open forum. That has been seconded by Senator Wilson.
Wait. Not 30 minutes.
30 seconds, yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Seeing no objections. Was that an objection? Okay. The second item for open forum is Cody Davis, a political science major, representing the Veterans Task Force in Off-Campus 2013.
Howdy!
Howdy!
Real quick, basically I did this in the last session, but this is for you new senators. If you're ever curious what powers SGA can have, this whole last year we compiled an entire report on veteran services here at A&M with problems, recommendations to fix them and to go forward. We got me, Brody, and Thomas got a meeting earlier today with Dr. Lofton and General Weber, and they had never ever seen SGA do something quite like this. I mean, it's 24 pages. It's like a real firm document. And I want y'all to, I'm going to send it out later. I want you to read it, look over it. So when we come back from summer, if y'all want to be a part of this, come talk to me and hop on board. It's really cool. It's really neat. This is one of the things that, if anything, that we do in here will have real long-lasting repercussions down the road. Thanks again.
There you go. Next up is Evan Lang, an international studies major from off-campus, class of 2013.
Hey.
Here I am again. Howdy.
Howdy.
Okay, so I know some of y'all might be were in the 64th, some obviously all in the 65th. If y'all had paid attention to what happened, basically the Constitution got ignored. In our system, which is really funny because the 64th session wrote the Constitution, so if they didn't like the way it was written, they should have brought that up when they were writing the Constitution, if that makes sense. But anyways, the court, J-Court, which interprets the law, not the legislative branch, as most of you may know, J-Court ruled that this was the appropriate way in which nominations were to occur. Don't recognize him. That's the way they ruled. And then the legislative body says, "Oh no, forget that. That's not even worth it. It's kind of like Marbury versus Madison, but gone all absolutely incorrect. So now you have the judicial branch, which apparently doesn't even have the power of judicial review anymore, which is not very good for democracy, in my opinion. And now we have no J court over the summer, but I mean, we don't really do anything in the summer. But nonetheless, that's just absurd. The fact is that the 64th Senate wrote the Constitution. They wrote it, they didn't like what they wrote, and then they overturned the way the court interpreted what they wrote. So that makes no sense what they did. They just pretty much talked in circles, much like I'm doing right now. But anyways, so there is a constitutional issue here, and y'all need to address it with an amendment. I do believe former Student Body President Pickering has introduced that in the last session. I don't know if some of y'all have that paper, but it would make sense to fix this problem as it is a pressing issue. And also for those of you who were in the 64th session, really, it's a very basic democratic concept that the judicial court has review over the Constitution, and it is not within the legislative body's bounds to overturn such a ruling. That is the purpose of having a judicial court, is to interpret the law. That's the whole reason for having it. So anyways, my time is up. Try not to take things too seriously. I always give students in this that advice, and nobody ever takes it, but please do listen. All right, thanks again.
Okay, there are 3 questions for Mr. Lang. The first is Chris Russo.
Oh, I have what? There's questions now.
There's questions now.
Cool.
Senator Russo off campus, I was just curious, you cited a judicial court ruling. Was the vote of the Senate in the 64th session just not to confirm the justices, or was it to declare that those justices could not be confirmed?
No, right, and you're right. But they did do it constitutionally, but the spirit of what the J Court said was that Pickering, former President Pickering had the right to appoint them, and basically they didn't have any problem with the actual candidates for the actual appointees. They just had a problem with the way it was done, and so they went through the back door and overturned the constitutional court ruling. So, yeah.
Thank you. Chair Price.
No problem.
Senator Slusser.
Howdy, Senator Slusser, Polls. I don't know if I'm the only one in here that didn't understand. Could you summarize your point of what that speech was? I didn't understand what you were saying.
Okay. The former President Pickering has a constitutional amendment. What's done is done, but it should be fixed. And I believe there's been a paper circulating around and it needs a sponsor. So I'm in favor of fixing the Constitution. Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Lang. The next item for open forum is Ryan Davenport, an education major from off campus in the class of 2012A.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I just want to come up before y'all, a little word of caution, especially to our dear leader, Speaker Bowen, and our Rules and Regulations Chair, Jody Harris. Just about an hour ago in this chamber, we brought forward some appointees for the Judicial Court. And instead of debating the people and their qualifications, the 64th Senate, led by Jody Harris and Scott Bowen, chose not to confirm those individuals because they disagreed with our Judicial Court. And I don't know about y'all, but hopefully most of you have taken Polls 206 and understand the balances of power in a federal government. And that was blatantly disrespected. We had a legislative branch trying to be both the legislative and judicial branch, completely disregarding the autonomy and the power vested in that branch. I would hope, Chair Harris and Speaker Bowen, that y'all would respect our form of government in this session, even though you disrespected it in the last. Because that is I'm sorry, Cody Davis, but you know what? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the way that people conduct themselves. And at some point, someone has to stand up and call a spade and say that it's wrong. And people are wrong. People are wrong.
That is out of order.
And people are wrong. And the way they've conducted themselves is shameful. And it shouldn't continue. And there are smirks and giggles going on right in front of me, and you can smirk and giggle all night, but it doesn't make it right. It's still wrong. We have 3 branches of government that balance one another out. And let's be people that solve problems rather than create them. And if you have a problem, let's try to solve it well beforehand instead of on dirty politics. Thanks and good night.
Okay, Senator Davenport will not be taking questions tonight. So next on the list is Marshall Rankin, a history major from off-campus in the class of 2014.
Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
I don't ever come to y'all's student meetings. I'm usually too busy reading. I'm coming before you tonight because I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed because of the actions of the Senate last week. I'm ashamed that immigration was made an A&M issue when it's not. It is a state and federal issue. Plain and simple, if you disagree with it, call your congressman. That's what they're there for. The opposing of somebody because of their immigration status, and then after the fact saying that you're worried that they could be a single issue candidate, that kind of sounds to me like you're covering your behind. You're saying something which really doesn't match on one hand, and then realizing it doesn't match and saying it the next. Not only that, but y'all's actions. Now, if it was the 64th and not the 65th, to me it really doesn't matter. Y'all occupy the office, so y'all are just as guilty, kind of like the U.S. Congress with our debt. I believe that our values have been violated. And here's why. If we use honor, then we should value that, which means if somebody is an Aggie, regardless of if they came from this country or not, they should be valued. The fact that they are an Aggie and were accepted, plain and simple, that's enough. If you don't think it is enough, make a new rule. And then I guarantee you that that rule will be taken and overturned because it'll be about somebody's color or immigration status. I'm sorry, it makes me really, 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 really angry. So I'm not very good at quieting myself when it comes to this, because all of our parents' money goes to this, and we should conduct ourselves in a way that suits our values. Leadership, one of our core values, leaders don't call immigration the issue. They use the single issue thing, and they confront it on that. And if you can't confront it on that, then it's not an issue. If you can't prove that he's a single issue guy, then don't. That's cool. All right, next thing.
25 seconds.
All right, good deal. My grandfather used to say to me constantly, he graduated from A&M in 1940. He's 91 now. He's the oldest practicing veterinarian in the state of Texas. He says to me every time I see him, Marshall, live with integrity, live with honesty, and follow the golden rule. My question to you is, if you were in that guy's shoes and somebody raised a thing about you that really had nothing to do with your qualification at all, which it doesn't. I mean, I read that, oh, it might embarrass the university. Oh, come on. Follow the golden rule. I don't come here a lot. That's my thing. If you follow the golden rule, my granddad says, it always works out. I believe that it does. And I would encourage every single one of you to follow, especially since all of our money goes to make this run. So, with that, I thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I got a little upset, but just kind of what happens. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to say this right here. We have silver taps afterwards. If this meeting doesn't end, I'm going to either move to adjourn or move to recess, whatever we need to do. If it doesn't end, I'm just going to leave. I refuse to stay here to argue about things until silver taps.
Okay. Next on the list is Kirby Slesser.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
I have an issue I'd like to discuss. I'm a new senator, as I believe most if not a few of you are. And I'm just trying to figure out how all this works, just like a lot of them are. And I've heard a lot about this political party thing, and I'm not trying to start anything again, so please don't think that. I just kind of want it to be over with. But I heard that they were all talking about how somebody was trying to get, people to vote, block vote, and how they were trying to get a head count and all this stuff. And I'm kind of confused because I received an email from someone we confirmed last week that kind of stated things that were like what the political party said, but I don't believe that they are part of this. So in other words, both sides are doing the exact same thing. So I'd just like to read this, and for the sake of the person, I'm going to keep this anonymous, because I don't believe that they should be outed for something, because they might not have intentionally done this for a political party reason. But it said, "Hey Kirby, I met you last Wednesday at the Senate meeting, and I was confirmed as a VP at the meeting, and so excited to work next year with John Claybrook and his cabinet. However, it is so important that the remaining 3 members of his cabinet, Drew Barber, Jose Luis Zelaya, and Michael Apple, are appointed at joint session meeting next week. I was hoping that we could count on your vote for them for confirmation and to debate in their favor if needed. If you have any hesitations or concerns about them serving in this position, please let me know so I can have the chance to let you know why these guys are best for the job. We are trying to get a head count of who we can count on for a confirmation vote next Wednesday, so please let me know if with what your thoughts are on this point. I appreciate your help and look forward to seeing you at the meeting." I believe this person is a very nice person. I don't believe they meant anything by it, but don't attack someone else. If people that are defending the political party, defend it, but don't sit there and say that they're the only ones doing the head count, they're the only ones trying to block vote, and all this other stuff. So I think this email speaks for itself in that sense. I would just like for it to be over because I see that both sides are doing it now. Thanks and giggle.
Next up is Kyle Womack.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I don't care about your new army fighting. All I care is that you go to Silver Tap after this meeting and at the end of the night.
Chris Esparza. Rachel Thornburg.
Well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So, I don't know if y'all know who I am, but I'm Rachel Thornburg, a senior agricultural science and agricultural economics minor from Blue Springs, Missouri. But more importantly, I'm a loud and proud member of the Fighting Texas Ag class of 2012. Hey. And I'm a former College of Agriculture and Life Sciences senator and a former chair in 2 sessions, but that's water under the bridge as of now. I want to give y'all some advice because I came into the Senate and I fell in love, and it was amazing, and I hope all of you love the Senate as much as I did, but I wish someone had given me advice from the beginning. So I'm going to read my speech so I don't ramble on to y'all, so enjoy it. Okay, November 4th, 2009. How many of y'all went to school here? Raise your hand.
2009.
All right, so all of y'all were in high school. Well, on that beautiful day, I got an a Facebook message from Justin Pulliam stating that I was the new College of Ag and Life Sciences senator. I didn't know this was how they did it in the Senate. Later, I got an email from Kyle Womack, who was pro temp, explaining that I had gotten the position. I was super excited. I lived in the sorority house at the time and ran downstairs excitedly to tell all of my sisters the great news. Obviously, we went on a presidential-sized campaign to get me ready for the Student Senate and to represent the sorority and the College of Ag perfectly, and I walked into my first Student Senate meeting just super excited, like all of you should have done. Like I said, I fell in love. What could get better than getting all dolled up and ready for a Senate meeting with some of your best friends in the whole wide world? Let me tell you, there's nothing. Y'all have to appreciate the Student Senate for what it is and not what you might want it to be, I guess you could say. So the 62nd session, we really shook things up. But it got better than that because I was in the 63rd and the 64th, and we shook things up in those too. I expect nothing but that from you guys in the 65th. So please shake things up for our beloved university because, I mean, there's no fun in Senate without doing that. Okay, like I said, be the movers and shakers your constituents want you to be. Be the constituents that I chose to represent through the College of Ag, because you represent them. Be respectful and cordial to each other, as you are all our face of the university to everyone else. And you have to remember that. People are staring at you as much as you think that they're not. Like the guy in the back who works for the battalion, takes pictures and writes about you. So smile, have fun. This is probably one of the best times of your lives. And trust me, I've had some fun times. Not only the Student Senate, but at this university itself. Let's see. Be true to the students who gave you this opportunity, your constituents. There's some who try for these seats over and over again, but never have the amazing opportunity you have to sit in these seats and to have this opportunity. And remember, they can take your seats back just as easily as they voted you into them, so don't piss them off. Trust me about that. Also, utilize their opinions. Trust them. They voted you in, like I've said before, and you represent them. Plus, everyone loves to hear their opinions heard. I mean, that's why we all joined the Student Senate in the first place. And plus, on top of that, I don't know if y'all heard Jeff Pickering talk about how much more valid our legislation was because we had student opinion tacked onto it. So it means a lot. Let's see, go to dinner, go out for drinks, get to know your fellow senators. It'll make your experience so much more fun, I guess you could say. If you make the effort, you're gonna leave the Student Senate 3 years later with some of the best friends of your life. And like I said, I can promise that too. Don't ever forget why you're here. We go to Texas A&M, and it's a great place. And I'll tell you a really fast story, and I'm sure I'm over time by now. But I'm going to tell it anyway, because I'm done at this university anyway. Okay, so last week, I had the privilege of going to Washington, D.C. and representing Texas A&M in my sorority at their Fraternity and Sorority Political Action Committee shindig, where we got to lobby to Congress. So at this meeting thing, there were about 30 or 40 SPPs from around the country. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, just being a senator and being around all these influential people. But I found it what was so much more cool than that. Every single one of them came up to me and asked me about Texas A&M. They said, hey, Rachel, tell us about COSGA. Tell us about how you get so many students to vote. Tell us about your student senate. And guys, I love this university, but that was the coolest moment of my life. To be surrounded by a mecca of students in such high positions and for them to pretty much bow down and ask what our secrets were. Tell them our secrets. We are the best student government in the nation, and they need to know what we do to be so great. As much as people hate on us and tell us that we're not doing great things, I'm hurrying. It's okay. I'm almost done. Tell them, because they deserve to be as great as we do. Okay, finally, please don't forget that on top of these other schools watching us, the rest of the country is watching us. We've been on the national news time and time again, and they're going to keep coming back because it's Texas A&M. Be diligent and fair, and above all, never forget who you are. And finally, never forget where you go to school, because I know I never will. Gig 'em.
Final item for open forum is Mark Bowman.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I actually tried to ask a question earlier, so I guess I'm not really in non-Senate mode. Just three quick things. I'm not here to talk to you about individual candidates for confirmation. I just want to ask you to do three things. The number one thing is that, as you guys have noticed, time is moving extremely, extremely fast. And I do really want to get through this stuff today, and I really ask that you move quickly through this. So that being said, I'm going to move quickly through my recommendation or my requests. The first request is that debate starts with debate against and ends with debate for, and I just ask that, out of respect, that you as senators keep that equal, and that we have as many for as we have against, as many against as we have for. I just think that's fair. Home team bats last, right? Or is that right? I don't know anything about baseball. I really don't. Sorry. And so I just ask that since against goes first, F should go last. I just think that's fair. And the last thing is, if you have any specific questions or specific concerns about a candidate, I just ask that you ask them a lot. It's made in the last debate about who asked questions when or whatever. We as Exec Council haven't really gotten any new concerns from Student Senate since the last meeting. We didn't really get any before that either, but we just really want an opportunity from an Exec Council perspective that if there are new concerns that have been brought to light in the last week, that those don't come out first in the debate, they come out first in questions so these individuals have a chance to defend themselves. So with that, we have not very much time until Silver Tap, so with that, thanks again.
All right, and with that, we will move into the motion to reconsider Drew Barber for internal vice president. Now, let me explain how this works. There will be debate on whether to consider the earlier vote, or whether to reconsider the earlier vote. So then a vote will be taken. That is a majority vote. So if the majority vote in favor of reconsideration, then what will happen is we will go into debate again, and then that will be his actual confirmation vote. So with that, we will now move into debate on the reconsideration. Again, hand in favor, fist against. The first debate I see is Chair Harris against.
All right, well,
Howdy.
all right, guys, so this isn't yet a debate about Drew or about the confirmation. This is a debate on a motion. For some reason, when we ended the last time a week ago, a motion was made to reconsider and enter on the minutes. And I'm really concerned about the potential abuse of this motion because it wasn't done for the other two candidates, and I'm really not for sure why it was done for one and not the other. Also, basically what this motion does, if we can continue to use this motion, we can delay action of our bills. This is kind of a dangerous thing. We can, if a bill passes and then one person changes their mind, well, they can say, well, I don't want this to happen for another 2 weeks. And that can be a dangerous thing. Because of this motion, Drew now does not have the ability to make a presentation, as the other two candidates now do. And so I'm very worried, as I said, about the potential abuse of parliamentary procedure. And I'm not accusing the person who made the motion of intentionally doing that, but we need to be careful. We need to tread lightly here. This is a parliamentary sort of weird issue that's never come up before. And so again, we're not debating against Drew. We're just debating against this motion. This affects nothing about Drew. He can still come back up for confirmation. It's just a really strange motion, and I encourage you to vote against it so that the next time that Drew comes back, he can actually have a presentation. And I yield to the floor.
Okay, debating for Senator Melendez.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I'm the one with the arrow, or the target on my back. I'm the one that motioned to reconsider for Drew Barber. It's a funny thing, that motion. You have to vote against initially and then motion to reconsider. And I admit, I voted against Drew Barber. And then I thought about it. I really thought about it. I looked at his presentation and I looked at what made Drew Barber qualified for this job. And I saw that I was wrong. And I'm a very prideful person. Lord knows that's the cross on my back. But I saw that I was wrong, and I reconsidered, and I made that motion to give Drew the opportunity that he deserves to succeed and to serve this university. I urge you to let him prove to you that your vote was not, the motion was not in vain. I urge you to let him have this chance. And I yield to Ryan Davenport.
You have a minute and a half.
Yeah, this motion is just a procedural motion. This vote doesn't say you want to confirm Drew, it doesn't say you're against him. It just allows us to go back into debate. If you look at all the other candidates, we spent a great period of time debating. We had a lot of people debate for, a lot of people debate against them. When Drew's confirmation came up, we had 1 for, 1 against, and immediately called previous question. He doesn't get to present again, another presentation, we don't get to ask him questions again. But maybe we can allow him to go back into debate. We can really flesh out some of the issues, some of the concerns, and really get him on the floor here and discuss them as a body, and make a decision whether or not we proceed forward, what to confirm him or not. So like I said, this is just a vote on whether or not we re-enter debate. This is not confirming him or not confirming him. So I urge you to vote for reconsideration so we can get back to debate and learn about more issues and how he's going to succeed in this position.
Thank you. Do I see the debate? Okay, previous question has been moved and seconded. All in favor of ending the debate on this motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. We will now move into a vote on whether to reconsider the earlier vote on Drew Barber. So this is not a vote up or down on Drew Barber himself. This is a vote to move, to basically reset to the beginning of the debate last meeting, and then move into debate on his confirmation. It passes by a majority. The chair will entertain a motion for a voice vote.
Point of information, if this fails, when would he be able to reapply? Would he have to be reapplied first meeting in the fall, or can you reapply this meeting, or?
Okay, if this fails, then basically, in order to put a new nomination on the agenda, that nomination has to be made and it has to be approved by the Internal Affairs Committee, and basically like we would do emergency legislation. So that has not been done, and it would be added to the end of the agenda and anything. So it would be in the fall, the first meeting of the fall. This would not count as one of the 2 strikes that every nominee gets. So he would be able to be brought up in the fall with a new presentation, new Q&A. Whether this motion passes or fails. Are there any, seeing no further points, there has been a motion made and seconded for a voice vote. All in favor of a voice vote, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. All those in favor of reconsidering this motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Nay. The chair calls his own division. All in favor of reconsideration, please stand. I see 23. All opposed, please stand. I see 28. So that motion fails. Drew Barber's nomination will not be reconsidered. The chair will, without objection, we will deviate from the agenda into executive confirmations on Jose Luis Zelaya and Michael Apple. Seeing no objection, the agenda is amended. We will now move into a period of presentation.
Thank you, Scott. Howdy. Howdy. Once again, thank you so much for having us here tonight. Scott, especially thank you to you for amending the agenda so that we can go through with this. I was very excited to email all of you guys this week. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but thank you to those who chose to respond. I did everything that I could these past few days to meet with each and every one of you who chose to meet with me. I hope that we were able to answer every single point that y'all brought up in the last debate. We received pretty consistent questions over the past couple weeks, and we did our due diligence and our research, and hopefully tonight we'll be able to answer every single question that y'all brought up at the last debate. Guys, tonight I encourage y'all to open your minds to the idea of confirming these people. I think there's some who I've talked to who have been very much set on not confirming these individuals. I encourage y'all and I ask y'all to open your minds to the idea of bringing these people in to serve on student government with us. Once again, I believe that these are the right guys. They have truly been working their tail off these past 2 weeks. They've been meeting with as many people as they could. They've taken the time to try and answer every question that y'all brought up. I've been incredibly impressed by every single thing they've done. Michael basically called me every single day to see what he could be doing to research and who he can meet with. And I think a lot of y'all have had conversations with him, and I hope that y'all have been as impressed as I've been by the way that he's conducted himself the past 2 weeks. Jose has consistently stopped by my office to see what he can be writing up, who he can be talking to. And in an incredibly difficult 2 weeks where these guys have no idea where they're going to be serving the next year, they have persevered and continued to prove this passion that they have for serving students. So please confirm these 2 people tonight. We're ready to get to work over the summer and ready to serve students in the fall. So I'm going to leave it up to these 2 guys now.
Howdy. Howdy. All right, as you guys know, my name is Michael Apple, and I am seeking confirmation for the Vice President of Finance position. I'm here tonight in order to clear up a few misconceptions in my case of running for Vice President of Finance. Some of these misconceptions include my experience and my passion. First, I would like to start off by talking about my experience. Last summer, I had the pleasure of interning at Interstate Batteries. For those of you guys who don't know, Interstate Batteries is a $1 billion corporation business replacement battery company. You guys also, I think, have a handout that gives a little more detailed description of my work. However, I would like to highlight, while at Interstate Batteries, I was in charge of creating a detailed 5-year history report, financial history analysis. In this analysis, it allowed me to discover certain patterns and certain reasons behind the expenses that the franchises were incurring. How this ties into my SGA and why it qualifies me for the SGA. I feel that through this experience, I can bring, being new to SGA allows me to have a fresh perspective on the overall SGA spending. And taking my experiences at Interstate Batteries, a very conservative company, I can bring those to this. Also, a benefit of me being new to SGA takes out the psychological bias. The fact that I have never been around the funds allows me to not carry past events and allow those to have an inappropriate impact on current fiscal situations of the committees. Also at Interstate Batteries, I was there, I audited. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with what an audit is, basically it is going in and checking up and making sure that they're truthful with their expenses and their revenues and they're not cheating the system. With Interstate Batteries, I traveled to Nashville, Tennessee on a warehouse audit. I hand counted all the inventory and cash and compared them to the current books to see if they matched up. Based on my results, I created a finalized report and took it back to the senior corporate management and presented it to them. As my job as Vice President of Finance, it is to ensure the committees remain responsible fiscal stewards of the money that you guys appropriate. That's my job, is to follow them, to audit them. Moving on, my education. The quality of education at A&M, as you all know, is extremely high. I have been studying finance for the past 3 years now. If this education has not equipped me with the tools to serve as Vice President of Finance, then I find concern in either the title of my major or the title of position I'm going out for. I believe finance is finance. An example of a class that I have gone through that has prepared me for this position is managerial finance. Through this class, we have learned financial statement analysis. That basically means looking over financial statements, realizing patterns, realizing things that need to be changed, recognizing areas that can be improved and cut down on. If there was one class at A&M, I believe that this class would prepare someone for this position, and I have been able to take it and go through it. Lastly, I'd like to touch on my passion for this position. Guys, I flat out am here to serve. I want to serve the students of A&M. I'm just an outside student taking advantage of the opportunity to use my skills and experience to serve A&M in the best way possible. I enjoy working with people and managing money, and that ties in perfectly to this role. As a senior next year, I will have a very light course load. I think I will lack like 18 hours course credit. In the fall, I'll be taking 12 hours. In the spring, it'll be, I think, 6 or 7. Anyways, I could easily check out and just coast through my senior year and enjoy that. I think the fact that my passion, however, I feel that it speaks loudly about my passion for this position and the fact that I'm coming out for it. Also, to touch on my passion, A&M, the reason the education is valued so high is because tuition and fees are low. I will be strongly against any increase and will do all in my power to keep tuition and fees from increasing. Thank you.
Howdy. Howdy. All right, howdy family. My name is Joselio Zelaya, and I'm running for Vice President of Diversity here at Texas A&M. Can y'all hear me good? Is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm running for the position of Vice President of Diversity for Texas A&M, and I want to be able to touch on the idea that there has been an argument brought up that I am a person who's going to divide Texas A&M. If there is one thing that I have done at Texas A&M for the last 4 years is unite Texas A&M. Unite Texas A&M with the idea that we are all allies and that we are here to serve and to love each other regardless of our differences. So some of the points that I want to be able to talk about is that I am not a single issue person. one of the things and conversations that I already started having, I already started talking with the Texas Aggie Conservatives and the GOBT Aggies here at Texas A&M, and two organizations, and I have asked them, can we work together next semester at Texas A&M? And they have said, you know what, Jose, we know you, we want to work together. I have talked with Greek Life and organizations and fraternities that usually are very, very competitive, and I have said, both of y'all have passion for community service. Can we work together? And they have said yes. I have talked with students who are pro-life and pro-choice, and I have come to an agreement that they agree in adoption, and I have said, can we work towards getting kids adopted and maybe working with families either in Bryan or in College Station that are single parents? Can we work to better our communities in Texas A&M University? And the other point that was also brought up is my immigration status. Now, there are three things that I want you to know about me. One, there's an idea saying that I came to this country illegally. That is not true. I came to the United States and I was allowed to stay in the country after I came from Honduras, and immigration allowed me to stay due to fear of persecution within my own nation. After I was shot, stabbed, and I ran away from a very violent father. The other thing is that people say that I did not seek documentation. That is not true. I actually applied for political asylum, but was denied due to the lack of documentation. I hope some of y'all ask me that question so that I can expand. And the other one is that I am not doing anything to be able to become legalized. That is not true. I was approached by 10 districts in 5 countries to work for them. And the reason why I did not leave America is because I love America, because this is my country, because I pledge allegiance to the American flag, because the United States is my home. The reason why I did not leave the United States is because I want to make a difference at my house. That's the reason why I didn't leave. So there are 2 districts that have come to me and have told me that after I graduate from my master's degree, that they would be willing to sponsor me to work with a working visa. So the idea that I'm not doing anything is not true. 30 seconds. The other thing is, the idea is that I am an Aggie. My Aggie ring says so. My diploma and my bachelor's degree and my apartment says so. My heart, which bleeds maroon, says so. But more than just an Aggie, I'm also an American. I love this country. I am patriotic. I love our nation. And I am not here to divide our university. I am here to unite our university. So I am saying, use me as a resource. I have a great communication with the diverse community here at Texas A&M. From Muslim students to atheist students to gay students to political and different political or religious things. I'm saying, use me to better serve our university. Let's not divide. So please confirm me tonight so that we can get to work tomorrow. Thanks and gig.
Each candidate will answer question and answer, and then we will immediately move into debate on that candidate. So first is, on the agenda is candidate Zelaya. So the first question goes to Senator Davenport.
You asked if one of us would ask you questions. Can you talk to us about seeking political asylum?
Yes. Okay, so whenever I came to this country, many of y'all know that a little bit about my story and the circumstances that I lived in Honduras. At the age of 14 years old, as a little kid playing soccer, just for playing soccer, there was a gang violence, and I ended up being shot twice and stabbed once simply because of the neighborhood where I lived. Then I came to this country, and whenever I entered the country, immigration custom enforcement allowed me to stay in the country legally, and I stayed here due to fear of persecution within my own nations. Then I applied for political asylum to the United States because I wanted to become legalized. Because I am not here to break the law, but to follow the law. I am here to better my country and to better my community. So I applied for political asylum, but due to the fact that I didn't speak English, I was poor, I didn't have a lawyer, I didn't have anything, my case was denied also due to the fact of lack of documentation. When I came from Honduras, in 1998, Hurricane Mitch destroyed my house. It literally swallowed my house. From the river took it. Honduras is not a country like the United States where you keep documentation or records of what happened. So whenever my dad used to shout at my mom, that was never on record because the police never took the time to do that. So we didn't have documentation of what had happened, so I was denied political asylum for that. So I did apply to become legalized in the United States because I love this country.
Next question goes to Senator Slesser.
I believe that despite your assurances that I believe immigration status is still a concern, could you enlighten us with the laws that declaring you legal?
Yeah. So in the state of Texas, because our system works through sales and property taxes, the best country in the world, the United States. The best state in the United States, Texas. The best university in Texas, Texas A&M. So by theory, Texas A&M is the best university in the world. That being said, the state of Texas has a law that allows undocumented students to go to college because they pay sales taxes and property taxes. Now that is the reason why I'm allowed to be here and be part of your family, because I pay those taxes. And because I graduated from a Texas high school, because I am not a criminal, because I have taken an oath to say that as soon as I have the opportunity to become legalized, I would do so. I am not here to break the law. Just tell me where to go. I would camp out there for a year if I have to, if they tell me that I have to become legalized. Tell me what's my penalty that I have to pay for. Tell me what it is that I have to do to have nice Social Security digits. So the reason why I am a legal student at Texas A&M is because there's a law that backs me up called Senate Bill 1528. So I might not be a resident of the state of Texas or a U.S. citizen, but there is one place where I belong, and that is Texas A&M because of Senate Bill 1528.
2.5 minutes remaining in question and answer, Senator Bateman.
Senator Bateman, off campus. And I know on the previous session that you have put on a vision, and I think a lot of senators have thought that's pretty narrow. So can you expand on what you want to do when you be elected?
Thank you. So the one reason, one of the things that I put on the timeline thing is that I only put the Hispanics President Month, the Hispanic Heritage Month. The only reason why I did not put other things there is because Aggies don't like, cheat, or steal. And I was not going to put something in there that I did not know about or had talked with somebody else. I am already working with the Hispanic Heritage Month. So some of the things that I have been part of, this is actually on your worksheet. I have worked with Pro-Life, Environmental Issues Committee, Texas High Conservatives, Destino, Muslim Student Association, the NAACP, Black Student Alliance, the GOPT, Bilingual Education Student Organization, One Águila, and Black Student Alliance, Hispanics President Council, Aggie Arabs, Asians Presidents Council, United Aggie Latinos, International Students, Honduran Student Association, Atheist Students, Greek Life, Campus Crusade for Christ, and TCAMP, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And it goes on. But here's the thing. One of the things that I want to do, I want to strengthen the idea of Aggie Union, and let's make it happen. So everything that we'll do will be about the Aggie Union to unify our university.
With a minute and a half remaining in question and answer, Chair Miller.
Withdrawn.
Senator Williams.
Withdrawn.
Senator Howard.
Richmond Howard Mays. Jose, what is your opinion of what motivated you to apply to the VP of Diversity position?
Yeah, I think that if you were to grab my heart right now and cut it in pieces, it would literally bleed maroon. I love this university. 11 years ago, I literally lived underneath the bridge. That was my home, a bridge. And my living room now is the living room. I love this university. I have a passion for this university. Whenever people ask me, oh, what do you think about Texas A&M and the treatment that they give you there? Well, let me tell you about Texas A&M University. We are a family. We are a family. We really are. It doesn't matter where we come from or who we are or what our sex identity or whatever X, Y, and Z might be. The reason why I ran is because one of our Aggie values is selfless service. Because Texas A&M is about service. And that's the reason why I'm here. Because I want to be able to serve Texas A&M University, and I want SGA and the student body to have that connection. And I know that I will be the bridge for that. So I am here to serve students.
5 seconds remaining in the debate, Chair Harris. Yes.
Okay. Jose, what are your plans for the Aggie Union / have you ever, also, I guess this is kind of a two-part question. One, what are your plans for the Aggie Union? Two, what are your plans for West Campus?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so very much. I'll start with West Campus. I actually had a meeting with General Weber, and I talked, how can we have, because whenever you go to Academic Plaza, you see how like people are there like walking on those ropes or the hammocks, and I'm like, what if we had this on West Campus? So I talked to him, and I don't know all the answers, but I can tell you one thing, that we will work really hard to have more campus involvement over there. One of the things that I do is that whenever I want to go to West Campus, I just go to West Campus just to study, just to go meet up people over there. But I actually put this package together, and then I believe it was sent out to you. But a little bit about the Aggie Union. I know you and I actually had a great conversation. One of the things that I want to do is unite Texas A&M. And one of the things, it will be about inclusiveness, respect, diversity awareness, create a strong network, retreat where students would come and work on diversity. We will have a banquet to be able to reward great organizations. The Aggie Union has the potential to literally unify our university. And I know that Dan Gutierrez is a guy that has worked with you and with other people in the past, and he would actually be my advisor in this project so that I know what I'm doing, and I will work with you and I will work with Texas A&M so that we make sure that we get it done.
And that concludes question and answer. And I wanted to say a few things before we start the debate. Aggies, I was very discouraged by what I saw last meeting, and not just in the debate on Nominees Alive, but in all the debates. And I was approached by a few people to say a few things, and I don't see it as my place to control the content of debate. Y'all can say what you want, you have freedom of speech, but I will caution you ahead of time. I saw Aggies hissing other Aggies. I saw Aggies calling each other horrible things. I saw Aggies bringing up things that were half-truths. I saw Aggies not conducting themselves in a way that speaks well of this body, that speaks well of this university, on both sides. So, if anyone has to resort to raising their voice, to using insults, to lying, any of that, it is because they don't have a leg to stand on. I want you to use logic, to use facts, and to make us proud tonight, because everyone's watching. So, be mature, be respectful, and we will now move into debate on candidate Zelaya. Do I see any debate against? Senator Brown.
Howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Trevor Brown. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but after reading the newspapers, everything I saw, I was appalled that, his citizenship, his immigration status was brought up. That is not a due point to not confirm someone. One of the things I wanted to touch on was tolerance. Tolerance is a key component of diversity, and that is tolerating other people's opinions, whether or not you agree with them. And in my personal opinion, Jose, he's a wonderful person, but I don't think he's the most qualified candidate, and I'll tell you why. At the end of the 63rd session, I was a senator duly elected in the 64th, and I got to witness a debate on a traditional value center that was going to come into A&M. Allegedly, it was going to cut funding from the GLBT Center, and I was against it. And Jose came in to speak against it as well on behalf of his organization. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the Minority Student Council. Well, his organization came in to speak, and the way he spoke, I believe, wasn't the most effective. He's very fiery, he's very passionate. That is a good thing, but I don't think it's effective in bringing people together. And I do think he's a qualified candidate, but after reading the applications, in my personal opinion, whether you agree with it or not, if you're a proponent of diversity, you should tolerate it. I don't think he was the best candidate, hands down. If he's elected, I think he will do a great job. But simply put, he just wasn't the best candidate. And with that, I will yield to Senator Luce.
Senator Luce, Legislative Affairs. I just wanted to touch a little bit on what Trevor was saying. How much time do I have? A minute. Okay, great. So I think that Jose Luis is a great activist, but I don't think that he'll be a great leader here at Texas A&M. So he's been an activist in the past, where he's just been, fairly, one-track focused. Focused on the DREAM Act and occasionally on GLBT issues, but he's not somebody who's going to bring people together. He won't be a uniter. He's been more divisive here at Texas A&M. So you can look at the gallery of people who are here. If you ask them, why are you here? Most of them are here because Jose Luis is here. Every time he comes to speak before the Senate, he brings his crowd with him. In the past, when in the first breath of outsourcing came and took place, he came here, there was a big group here, and he's talking about how it was a racial issue and how it would be racist if we outsource. Now, whether or not you like outsourcing, don't like outsourcing, it's probably going to happen, but it's not a racial issue. The issues become very polarized and very political and divisive whenever Jose Luis is here, which is good for his particular side, but it won't be good as a uniter. Some of the best classes I've been in.
What's that?
All right, I'll be back.
Speaking in favor, Chair Harris.
Well, howdy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was one of the ones that voted against Jose last time. After last meeting, I took about half an hour and spoke with him, and then I took another 3 hours yesterday and spoke with him. There were two reasons that I personally didn't vote to confirm Jose last time. I know there were 3 reasons that he did not get confirmed. I wasn't worried about his status. That's something I'll address here in just a second. But the 2 things that I was worried about is the fact that he was a former SVP candidate, and that bothered me because I've seen that done time and time after. And so that bothered me, and the fact that he might potentially be a one-issue candidate, that bothered me as well. However, I spoke with him, and Jose and I are on opposite sides of what you might say are on opposite sides a lot of times of the political spectrum. I'm a very, very conservative person, and I think that's kind of being drawn into this, and I think we need to kind of keep that out, keep that down. The reason that I think Jose is going to do a great job for this is he's not only I've never in my life seen a person running for diversity bring up these organizations. Texas A Conservatives. I've never heard that in my life. I never heard a diversity person come and say that they're willing to talk with these people and they have a plan to bring them into this diversity plan. Pro-life Aggies. He wants to get pro-life and pro-choice Aggies together. I think he's talked about that a little bit. I missed part of his Q&A. Also, on a different side of things, I've never in my life heard anybody running for an exec position mention Greek life. I'm in fraternity, and it's something that I've never, especially a diversity commissioner. I was really excited to see that he has a plan for Greek life and a plan for our fraternities and sororities here on campus. TCAM, my goodness, nobody since I have joined Student Senate has ever talked about the fact that transfer students are sometimes discriminated against in our university. I've personally witnessed it. My wife was a transfer student and kept her from getting some of the organizations that she wanted to. And so also his plan for West Campus is ingenious. He took the opportunity to go speak to our Vice President of Student Affairs because he wants West Campus to look like it does on Main Campus. I'm an agriculture major. I stay on West Campus all the time, and he goes over there sometimes just to study. It really impresses me. How much time?
Yeah, you're out of time.
Okay, I will return.
Speaker, I move to the previous question. Yeah, a motion has been made for previous question. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Walden. All those in favor of previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, that fails. We will now move into debate against Senator Cheshire.
Howdy guys, Senator Cheshire, Liberal Arts. I just want to say one thing, 2 things really. I'm the person from TAC that Jose talked to. I never committed to anything. I said that might be an interesting possibility, and I think it's really dishonest to come up here and say that we had committed to work on anything like that. Another thing, I'm not going to be politically correct here. His status is a problem for me, and I want to say I am the grandchild of an immigrant. My grandmother was born in 1941 in Santiago, Chile, and currently she has a green card and has to go back to her country every 2 years for 2 months to reapply. She does not want citizenship in this country because she married my grandfather and could easily have it. But the fact is that, she could just stay here and it would be probably, she'd get away with it under United States law. I think that it's a huge liability for Texas A&M to bring in somebody who, as Cody Davis pointed out at the last meeting, pending the presidential race, could be deported next year. That's all I have to say. I yield the floor.
Okay, speaking for Senator Woolridge.
Howdy. I'll try to keep this brief. Again, like I said, I'm keeping this brief because Chair Harris actually said a lot of what I was going to say. I voted against last week, but those issues were pretty much put to rest for me after listening to him tonight. I actually got that email from John Claywood, tried to meet with them. Our schedules didn't work out, but again, those issues were kind of resolved tonight. While I still don't agree that an illegal immigrant should be and again, this may be unpopular, but my job's not to be popular in this room. I still don't believe that an illegal immigrant should be put in a position of leadership, but after listening to him speak and doing a little more research on it myself, he seems to have taken a lot of steps to try to become a legal citizen, and I believe that, he is an Aggie, he's got the ring, it's good enough for me. So I take him at his word, that if Texas law says that he can come here and be allowed to be a student, then that's good enough for me. And if he's good enough to be a student under Texas law, then he's good enough to serve as a leader on the campus. So
I just wanted to say I find it a little ironic if we're going to be discriminating against our person for Vice President of Diversity, then why are we even allowed to appoint this person if we're going to be discriminated as a body? Okay, so one of the comments for the debate against was that there are other better candidates for this position. I actually had lunch with the guy who applied for this position, and he said whenever he found out that Jose Luis was applying too, he said to me, I'm done, I'm not getting this position because Jose Luis is amazing, he will get this position. I asked, do you think that this is going to be because of the endorsement for John Clayward? And he said, no, John can be as objective as he wants. He can be the most objective person when deciding for this position. But no one else, not even myself, will have better application than Jose Luis, the person who applied. So if the person who applied does not believe that he is better for this position than Jose Luis, then I am not sure that we can state that.
More information has been raised as to how many applications there were. I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, that there were 4 applications for this position. 5. Yes, thank you.
And I yield support.
Mr. Speaker, I'm previous.
Motion has been made for previous question, seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
The chair calls the division. Division is called by Senator Davenport. All those in favor of moving to a vote on this, please stand. I have 38. All those opposed, please stand. I have 16, so that passes. We will now move into a vote. Is there a motion for a ballot vote?
So moved.
That has been moved. So let's pass out ballots.
There should actually be a lot of ballots on your tables already.
Hey guys, just a reminder, the name of the candidate, your name, and yes or no. All 3 pieces are really important. So what did you say if it didn't keep me in a 2?
Ready ballots.
It will make it.
Once again, if your ballot does not have 4 lights on it, if your ballot does not have for or against on it, if it just has a bunch of lines, then write for or against on there. So just in case anyone's confused about that. Yes, or yes or no. Have all ballots been turned in?
The ballots have been turned in.
All right. Since all ballots have now been turned in, the chair will make the body aware that it is out of order for individuals who are not senators to be in or on the Senate floor or in the seating area. So if you'll please return to your seats, we will now move into a period of questions with Michael Apple while we wait for the results on this vote. Now, several placards were raised ahead of time for Senator Howard, Senator Russo, and Chair Miller. Do you three still want to ask your questions? Yes. Okay. So first is Senator Howard.
Christian Howard, Mays. Michael, what is your opinion on the newly proposed student success fee?
Basically, that fee has been proposed by Dr. Laughlin, and basically to sum it up, it's basically him asking for us to write a blank check as far as student fees go, and they can use it for whatever. And I feel very strongly against that. They're definitely, if all else fails and they had to give a fee, they need to tell us where that fee is going to. They cannot just expect us to just pay money to just be stipend.
The next question will go to Senator Russo.
Senator Russo, off campus. I know we talked about this briefly, and you sort of touched on this in your presentation, but I just want you, before the floor, to answer this. Will you promise to oppose by default any fee that is not specifically set an opinion for by the Student Senate?
My job is to carry out y'all's votes and what you guys want. I'm here to work with you guys, and if that's what you guys want, then I'm willing to work with you. Does that answer your question?
Can I just briefly clarify?
There are so many other people in line that I have to say. Next is Chair Miller.
Chair Miller, CA. You touched on in your presentation the 5-year plan that you put together. Could you go into that a little bit more, like kind of what you were doing and I guess detail it a little more?
Yeah. I'm sorry I was so brief on that. I was trying to get through my time. Basically, if you guys, do all of you guys understand what a financial statement report, expense report looks like? Okay, basically Interstate Batteries, they have 3 sectors, as you can see on this sheet. My job was to go through and create a franchise sector report over the previous 5 years of each franchise and their expenses. So basically, I created an Excel template by myself, and I listed the different franchise stores, and I listed all the different accounts. Through doing this, you can see that it changes in expenses over the course of 5 years. And the way I feel that ties me into this position is me looking at the SGA committee's reports over the past. And I'll be able to have experience as far as looking at those and recognize patterns that someone who hasn't had the experience I've had would be able to.
Thank you. Next question goes to Chair Sosa.
Senator Sosa of Finance. Can you point out any couple of fees that you think are too high right now?
I feel that the IT fee is pretty high right now. Me and you have discussed that as far as them requesting to raise it and the discrepancy that was faced there. That's something that, that's the most specific one I can think of off the top of my head, but I don't feel that it'd be very difficult to figure out which fees are too high.
Thank you.
The next question goes to Senator Bateman.
Senator Bateman, off campus. I know you, or in your presentation, you talked about going to different, or I think John did, about going to different advisors and learning about what you're doing because of the fact that you're going to SGA. So can you elaborate on what you learned in the past week or so?
Basically, I've learned about the entire allocation process. I've learned my place as Vice President of Finance. I've learned my roles. I've just asked opinions. I'm not saying that I'm going to follow my predecessor for what exactly they did. I've asked how they did things, and I asked if they could go back and what things they would change. So I talked to them about that, and I'm not here to replicate my previous position to do everything the exact same way. Something that I did realize was the fact that he was stressing that you had to spend all $50,000. I'm here to try and get the committees to do more with less. Flat out.
The next question goes to Senator Esparza.
Presently good relationships between the exec committees and the appropriations committee and the finance committee. And you want to work with both to get those concerns.
Like I stressed in my first presentation, I'm a very relational person. I respect others' opinions and I demand they respect mine. I'm going to be very transparent. I have nothing to hide on the table, and I feel that the relationship is very important and to allowing the process to be efficient. And that is something that I'm glad you pointed out I would like to strengthen.
And the final question goes to Chair Harris.
Chair Harris, rules and regulations. Concerning the previous year's SGA budget, what is something that you would like to have seen not been spent on that budget? Does that make sense?
I honestly don't know. I haven't started. I've been worrying about getting confirmed, to be honest. But that's something that I would definitely jump right into if I am confirmed.
And seeing no further questions, that concludes question and answer. There is a result on the previous vote by a vote of 30 in favor to 26 against. Jose Luis Zelaya was not confirmed for Vice President of the University. And we will now move into debate on nominee Apple. Do I see any debate against? Joseph.
Howdy. I'd like to start off by kind of talking about when I was elected to finance chair. I was elected to finance chair with experience, and when I showed you all the information that I had, I wasn't worried first about becoming finance chair and then learning the information that's required to carry on this position. First, I researched student fees, I researched appropriations, I worked with appropriations, looking over the bill, and then after 1 year of research, and there's still a lot to learn about research and fees, after 1 year of all of that, I decided and I felt confident that I was ready for this position. With that, I yield to the floor.
Speaking in favor, Chair Miller.
Chair Miller, CA.
I would agree with Fernando. I know that he was super prepared whenever he came in. I think that it'd be hard for. What? Anyway, I think that it would be hard for someone to be as prepared as Fernando coming in, just because the way he researches is just like crazy. But I got the chance to talk with Michael Apple, and I think. He talks a lot about his passion and wanting to serve, and I don't think that really comes off as well as it could in his presentation. I think that he's very passionate about the job. No, he may not have every single thing figured out. I think that, when Jody asked him that question about SGA, that's maybe something that he didn't get to. I can't really speak to that, but I know he's very passionate about the position. He has experience in finance, putting that 5-year plan together that he did. And I don't understand everything about finance, but I know enough to know that that's, a really big deal. And I know that he has a willingness to come in to serve. No, he doesn't have SGA experience like some people coming in, but he has a really, he wants to serve, he wants to do a good job, and I think that he is qualified enough for this position to get in and start learning, start working, and start making a difference in finance SGA. And I yield to Cody Davis.
The experience argument kind of loses me, and this is my interpretation on it. I always hated it when the Womacs would get up here and say how long they've been in Senate, but I'm going to take a page from their book and not say that. I'm going to say I am 28, I'm a non-traditional student, and when I look at college, I look at it as this is the place where you get experience. This is where you're supposed to be going out for positions like that. This is where you're supposed to be trying to learn how to do things like that. And so I'm going to...
The chair will advise that it is out of order for members who do not have speaking privileges to be walking through the seating areas. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, can you define what the seating area is?
The seating area is any area that is an aisle Between here, between there, between here, between there, or behind any row of seats. So if someone is coming up behind you who is not a senator and trying to either influence you or talk to you or do anything, they are out of order. And please call them out of order because that maintains order in this body. Sustained.
Where was I?
Debate again.
We'll have that 30 seconds.
Qualifications, right, yes. I went over his qualifications. I think for any student at this university, he is qualified. And I think some of no qualifications could, if they wanted to, put in the time and effort to get up to speed on this. Because like I said, these are the places where you learn these skills and where you hone in how this works. And with that, I yield Ryan.
Jody, I can agree with you. Mr. Speaker, I can agree with Senator Davis more. In that student government should be a place where students can come to learn and develop skills. And I think that if you look, if you look at the candidate we have before us, I think that he can learn exactly what he needs to do to fulfill this mission. But also, look at what he's already done. Him applying his coursework, which is part of our provost plan for Aggie's commitment, applying what we learn in our classes to our organizational involvement. I think that Michael's a fantastic person to help fulfill that type of program. So I urge you to vote for that. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I move this question.
Order in the interest of silver taps, I move the previous question.
Okay, a motion has been made for previous question, seconded by a lot of people. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Is there a motion for a ballot vote? So moved. Okay, that has been moved. Let's make it a fast ballot vote. I'm going to go ahead and while you guys are voting, I'm going to move into our next items of business. The Memorial Student Center 24-hour bill has passed out of committee. It is in our agenda. I will entertain a motion to postpone it until the first meeting of the fall semester. That has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. The mandatory meal plan bill, which is emergency legislation, I will entertain a motion to refer that to the Student Services Committee. That has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. That passes. Are there any items for open session? Seeing none, open session is closed. Are there any announcements? Seeing none, announcements are closed. Is there any request for a committee report from one of the chairs? Seeing none, committee reports are closed. Executive reports, Student Body President Claybrook. Seeing none, Chief Justice Monroe. Any report from the court? Myself, guys, I was very proud of the way we conducted the debate, the way we conducted this meeting. Whether you agree or you disagree with the outcome, this is how we should behave in future meetings. This has gone very quickly. This has gone in order, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with in the fall. And we will have, I'm sure we'll have a lot of great discussions in this body. And with that, Speaker Fernandez, closing roll. And then if this vote passes, he will be sworn in after closing roll. Yeah, that's constitutional. Yes.
Okay. Chair Bowen. Myself. Chair Harris.
Howdy.
Chair Gnu.
Howdy.
Chair Lou.
Howdy.
Chair Mandry.
Leave it on until
Chair Sosa.
confirmations, until the result.
Sosa.
Howdy.
Chair Price. Chair Price.
Howdy.
Chair Miller.
Howdy.
Senator Barr. Senator Brody. Senator Slusser. Slusser. Senator Tash. Smith. Rachel Smith. Senator Cowser. Senator Golden. Senator Davenport. Boissard. McCreary. Corney. Wilridge. Owens. Kingsbury. Goff. Cheshire. Carpenter. Hernandez. Bryson. Pollock. Pennyman. Nidegger. Senator Nidegger. Howdy. Senator Howard. Alders. Cahill. Senator Cahill. Senator Edmund. Senator Rios. Nate. Kim. Casilleka. Young. Hooper.
Howdy.
Click.
Howdy.
Senator Russo.
Howdy.
Senator Boyd. Davis.
Howdy.
Allen.
Howdy.
Kelly.
Howdy.
Mully. Joyce.
Howdy.
Potcutter.
Howdy.
Sparta.
Howdy.
Brown.
Howdy.
Duquay.
Howdy.
Hoss. G.
Howdy.
Willinson.
Howdy.
Bateman.
Howdy.
Melendez. Howdy. Roach Miller.
Howdy.
Phelps. Phelps. Heifel. Caldwell. Come on. Carey. Carey.
Yes, sir.
Howdy! By a vote of 37 in favor, 11 against, with 1 abstention, Michael Apple is confirmed for Vice President. Because we technically do not have a Chief Justice, it goes to me next to administer the oath. So Michael, will you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Michael Apple, do solemnly swear faithfully execute the best of my ability the office of Vice President of Finance for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association, and at all times to protect the welfare of the student body, to promote good relations between the students and those concerned with the university. Congratulations.